Hey, what's up? This is J.R. Martin. I am the owner of Underdog Press as well as an author. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the story. One of my first characters I created, Issa Obasi. He's the first one I ever had an in depth profile for, a lot of back history, a lot of things that allowed me to have reference materials for that particular character. But before I get into that, and once again, these are all raw, I come up, talk about stuff, and go off the dome. But I also want to talk about the fact that I definitely want to see more stories from African Americans, Native Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, just basically everybody, because we do publish other people's stories. We've actually done three anthologies so far: Way of Worlds, Underdogs Rise Volume 1, and Underdogs Rise Volume 2. And we're getting ready to do an open call for Underdogs Rise Volume 3. And I just want to let people know, hey, submit stories to us, right? We have started getting more stories over time, and that's really cool. Like our very first open call, we only received, uh, want to say about 30, 40 stories. The second open call that we did, we received a lot more than that. And then for Way of Worlds, I cannot even explain the number of stories that we received, but for people to talk about underrepresentation in stories, a lot of times I was actually shocked by how few stories we received from underrepresented groups. So, just as an FYI, when we do open calls, we're looking for stories from everyone, everyone, right? Because we believe that you have to be able to publish everybody's stories, get everybody's viewpoints, see that this world is full of diverse ideas, cultures, and peoples and thoughts, and it's more than just very siloed. Um, the world is not siloed, basically. So that's one of the big things. But what we're about to do here, okay. So this is going to be my just me reading through the profile that recently came down in our newsletter. So we'll love to hear your thoughts. So let us know what you think about it, especially me because this is my character. This is one of the ones I wrote. So let's get into it. All right. So this is how I kicked it off. What happens when an engineer without magic is forced to survive in a world ruled by it? And yeah, let's keep going. Imagine being born into a family of legendary warriors where magic is not just a gift but an absolute birthright. Now imagine being the only one born without a single spark of it. This is the reality for Issa Obasi. In his West African homeland, runes are an ancient heritage used to command the elements and guard kingdoms. But to his father, a renowned Igbo general, Issa's lack of Ike, the innate ability to intuitively channel rune magic, was a disappointment. Deemed faithless and made to feel weak, Issa chose to run. He didn't run to hide, he fled to rebuild himself. That's the key. So I want to actually pause right there for a second just to talk about this isn't a normal hero's journey type story. Issa is a person who, when he found out he couldn't use magic, he went became a scientist. Right, that's one of Issa's big things. Is he is sorry, my face looked a little weird, but he is a scientist first and foremost. Um, so let's keep going. Relocating to the soot-stained streets of Dallas, Texas, Issa traded ancient rituals for physical science. He poured his brilliant, stubborn mind into mastering steam engineering. Today, he is a master engineer with over 100 patents to his name. Once again, he succeeded, including modern racing carriages, and is actively researching Sigma Steam, a revolutionary technology aimed at eliminating the deadly, toxic uranium mining industry by combining steam and magic together. So I want to make a quick note right there. If you notice, even though he can't use magic, Issa very much recognizes the importance of magic. He sees that magic can be an answer to a problem because in this world, people are dying from a disease called uranium sickness, which uranium is radioactive. And I fudge things a little bit. Uranium is actually more abundant in this world than in other worlds, and or in our world. And so, because uranium is mined by people and they're getting sick from it, he's trying to find a way to cure that disease. And he realizes that with the energy that magic is able to produce without using uranium, um, he's able to actually use magic. If he can find a way to use magic and steam together, it would be beneficial. So to add a little bit more to that, you're maybe asking, well, why can't magic and steam be used together? So without giving too much away, in this world, there's a thing called star metal. It's my MacGuffin, and because of star metal, you have a situation where Native Americans use it, and a lot of other people, even the Igbo, they use it, and they are using it for rune magic. But star metal, when mixed with uranium, something the size of a grain of rice, can power a steam locomotive indefinitely. You never have to put another scoop of coal in. So that makes sense, right? Same resource, star metal, used two different ways. One way is used for magic, the other way it's used for science. And that's the world that we live in. That's why magic exists in this world, because of star metal. And Issa sees that. And he sees that these two things can be combined into one. But if you use magic, so in this world, Native Americans have created a magical barrier protecting them from westward expansion. Well, the reason they were able to do that is because the steampunk and the mix of uranium interferes with magic and vice versa, so that they cancel each other out. So when you actually move into a place with high magic concentration and you have steampunk tools, those tools will degrade quickly. And that degradation means that the weapons that the East in this world is using, the weapons that that everything east of Dallas, Texas is using, that the U.S. is using, those weapons can't function in the Native American world, but they still have their full powered magic. And so, because they have their full powered magic, they actually have the superior firepower when the U.S. moves west. But let's continue reading. He carries himself with a cool, calculating exterior. I have considered Issa, and I go all the way backstory and back history to the point where he's an INTJ. So, as an INTJ, the classic architect personality, he approaches life like a complex puzzle, visualizing abstract steam pressure charts in his mind and deducing truth from the smallest physical clues. So, fun fact, I actually started writing this story, I think, around 2008, 2009. And at the time, I was trying to create my own version of a Sherlock Holmes and Watson. So, in this way, Issa's kind of uh, he's a Sherlock Holmes type character. Let's keep going. But do not mistake his scholarly professional attire for weakness. Beneath his finely tailored coat lies a taut, muscular physique honed by years of martial arts training in Africa. He's the son of a general. And if anyone pushes him too far, they'll have to answer to him and his steam cane, a beautiful bronze scroll work walking stick designed by his brilliant apprentice Annie Sakdoval that instantly extends into a lethal quarterstaff or fires a high velocity dart. So I love doing stuff like that, just so you can see the technology up front, right, with his steam technology. But to continue, but the biggest mystery of all, deep lore suggests Issa's lack of magic may not be a defect at all, but a massive psychological fortress of his own creation, or something else, as we continue on throughout the 5 book series. Born of resentment and okay, but a massive psychological fortress of his own creation, born of resentment and a stubborn refusal to yield control. You have to give yourself over to the magic. You have to have faith. When a ruthless rival and a hostile faction threaten to steal his life's work, Issa will be forced to face a hard truth. To save those he loves, he must find a way to reconcile his rigid scientific mind with the wild ancestral magic he spent a lifetime running from. Are you ready to join Issa on his journey of steel, steam, and lightning? So you'll have to read the book to understand where the lightning comes from, but I always like to say that Issa does end up learning magic. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And that's just a little bit about Issa Obasi. I'm going to do character profiles for the rest of the characters, but I wanted to start with him since he is the main protagonist. So check it out. Peace.